Hi everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Mark, and today we're going to be making bacon wrapped pork chops with my homemade seasoning, as well as cheddar broccoli pasta side, which is just a simple Lipton package, or it's a Knorr package. You can buy it Lipton or Knorr. I use the Knorr one. So the first thing you're going to need is either 8 thick or 8 medium-sized pork chops. They're going to look like this. This is boneless ribeye chops. You're going to need about 8 pieces of thin bacon. And of course, my famous sauteed onions and garlic and bell peppers. You're going to need meat tenderizer, salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. And that's for the pork chops. And then you're going to need 3 packages of this in order to make 8 servings. You're also going to need about 15 toothpicks because you want to hold the bacon in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pre-cook the bacon a little bit on both sides. We want to get it because it takes longer to cook bacon than it does pork chop. So we're going to cook the bacon first, and you're not going to dump all the grease out. You're going to dump part of it out, but you're going to save the grease because the grease is the flavor for the pork chops. Now, as I stated, we're just going to pre-cook the bacon on both sides, about 10-15 minutes on both sides, just long enough to get it brown and almost cooked, but not completely, because we're going to wrap it around the bacon afterwards. Now, as I stated, you're only going to cook those for about 5-10 minutes on both sides, 15 max for the total. I dumped a little bit of the grease out. I still have a little bit in here. You're going to use this for your flavoring. So leave the grease, what's left in there, dump about half out. You should end up with, I would say, probably about a 1/3 cup of grease left over. So the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to sprinkle. And this is just enough to cover the bottom. And that's the meat tenderizer. And again, with the onion powder. And then with the garlic powder. And this all is just to cover the bottom, that's it. That's the salt. And that's the pepper. Salt and pepper is just a little bit of a dash on it. Now I do have a secret ingredient. And there's two secret ingredients. And that is, this is ginger. And sugar. In the sugar, you don't really put a lot in there, just enough to give it a little bit of a sweet flavor. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to add your sauteed onions and garlic, and your peppers. And if you're like me, you actually make sure that you pour the grease into your container when you freeze your sauteed onions, garlic, and peppers. And you just want to put this on a medium heat. Now you're probably wondering where the bacon is. The bacon actually is sitting on a plate to actually dry up a little bit. At this time you can actually prepare for your side dish, which I've already added the water and the milk. I'm just going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Now, I know a lot of people use margarine or butter. It's actually your preference what you want to use. I prefer the real butter whenever I'm cooking. Put that on a medium low heat, or medium, just put it on a medium heat. Now, this is actually cooking. Now, if you prefer, you can use brown sugar instead of the regular white sugar. It doesn't really matter. They're both going to do the same. Brown sugar is a little more moist than your white sugar is. So this is all set. So we're just going to turn this down. We're then going to come over here and we're going to get the chicken or the pork chop all set up. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out a piece of pull out one of the pork chops. Just simply wrap it just as you see right here. And just run a toothpick in it so that it comes out the other side. That's all you're going to do. It's just to hold it in place. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but Mark, there's only one piece of bacon wrapped around these pork chops. That's fine because the flavor that's inside of the pan is actually going to cook through the pork chops. So it's going to give it the bacon flavor along with all the other seasonings that's in here. And keep in mind, we have onion powder, garlic powder, we have salt and pepper, we have a little bit of ginger, we have a little bit of sugar. On top of that, we also have the onions, garlic, and bell peppers that are in here. So all those flavors are going to soak up into the chicken. Now, if you wanted to, you could just sprinkle on the top. This might be overkill for some of you. So if you're happy with the way that we had started it originally, then that's fine. Just leave it the way it is. And we'll just put a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And a little bit of the ginger. And last but not least, now once you taste these, you'll realize why the sugar is in there. It's just a little bit of sugar, so it's not a lot. So it shouldn't be anything that's going to affect the flavor or to make it too sweet. Now all we're going to do with these is just simply flip them periodically through this. Now I can already smell the flavors that are going through this. Now I don't recommend using a fork, a metal utensil, but I wasn't touching the pan, so we're fine on that. So we have it on a medium heat, and we'll check back in a little bit on this. So as you can see, the pork chops are all done. The flavor with the bacon and all the seasonings that I threw in there, as well as the sauteed onions, garlic, and bell peppers, the aroma is just it smells so good. I'm just waiting on the broccoli and cheddar macaroni to actually get done, and then it'll be all set and I'll serve it. The mac and cheese is all done. I don't know if you can see it. However, I don't like mine as soupy, so it's going to sit for a little bit and it would thicken up. But then what I also like to do is add a package of Velveeta cheese to it, just to thicken it up a little bit. So what we're going to do is just pour Velveeta cheese in here. I always keep this on hand. Just because if there's something that I'm making, it may not be thick enough, and this always adds that little bit of thickness that you need. I'm just going to add the rest of this to here. Stir this in. This will make it the consistency that I want, which it did, in fact. Now there's one more thing that we got to do to the pork chops, and I'm going to show you that in just a second here. Now, as I stated, the last thing you want to do is, you can see that everything is on the plate. Yep. So all you want to do is just simply drizzle some of the seasoning.
So how much can I buy 2 dinners?
All you have left to do is just simply pour the juice, the seasoning at the bottom of the pan on top of the pork chops. First of all, I want to apologize. That was my roommate. He thought I was talking about him as far as I was going to give him one. And I told him, no, I wasn't. He actually just bought 2 of my meals. I made 8 of them. And somebody at work, I told them I was making it. And they said, well, if you're making it, I'll buy it. So I actually just sold 3 of my meals that I make normally for the week. So when you get done, they should look something like this. The sauce is on the top with the onions, garlic, and bell peppers, and all the seasonings that are thrown in there. This is bacon wrapped pork chops with broccoli, mac and cheese, and I added a little bit of Velveeta mac and cheese or Velveeta cheese to go on the top to mix it in. I like it a little thicker. If you have any questions, this is Cooking with Mark. And it'll be up on my Facebook page. It'll also be up on my website, cookingwithmark.com. It'll be on YouTube. It'll also be up on the Twitter pictures. I always post pictures on Twitter. Thank you again for watching Cooking with Mark. Have a good day now.